You might be wondering why I'm eating a donut. First off, it's because this is the post-Geekout reaction. And for anybody who has not seen a post-Geekout reaction before, it is where we just have an open, honest discussion about the thing that we just watched, which means that this is not a review, meaning we will go into spoilers. This is just the thoughts that are popping into our heads right now. And over the past, 6 months, I have had so many people coming into my store and saying, hey man, I really love those post-Geekout reactions. I never thought this would be the thing that catches on with the channel. And I know that the comic book stuff is still the most popular stuff, but I always had people coming in going, yeah, I love your comic book stuff, because I work in a comic book store, so it's obvious they would come to my store and say you love that. But over the last 6 months, I've had so many people coming in going, I love the post-Geekout reactions. And whenever I ask them which one they really enjoyed, they always go, the one where you guys were eating cereal. And that was the Batman vs. Superman one. But what I love is, they never say, I love the Batman vs. Superman one. They say, I love the one where you're eating cereal. That's how they identify that one. That's so weird to me. And if they do say the Batman vs. Superman one, they then immediately follow up with, I love that you guys were just eating cereal on that one. I don't know. So I was like, yeah, screw it. All right, if that's what the audience wants, I will eat while we do this. But the other reason why I'm eating a donut is because today we're talking about the Power Rangers movie.
I'm gonna grab a donut too.
And if you've seen the Power Rangers movie, you know what's up. You know what this is about.
Even though these donuts are not Krispy Kreme donuts, they're actually donut plant donuts.
After we walked out of there, you actually said, so do you want to go and get Krispy Kreme? And I said, fuck Krispy Kreme. I know everybody's getting upset with me because everybody loves Krispy Kreme like it's a cult. 2 reasons why I say that. A is because I grew up in North Carolina, which is the headquarters of Krispy Kreme. That stuff was everywhere. It was Starbucks in that state. And Krispy Kreme makes their donuts with yeast. And yeast donuts are alright. I enjoy yeast donuts, but I like cake donuts better. And the only place you could get cake donuts was at this one mom and pop bakery that got shut down instantly as a Krispy Kreme moved into that neighborhood. Not kidding you. Or Dunkin' Donuts, and the Dunkin' Donuts was an hour drive from my house. Krispy Kreme everywhere. So I was like, okay, A, forget Krispy Kreme for that reason, because it was everywhere when I grew up. And B, we live in New York. There are hipster bakeries all over the place. Hipsters know how to bake. I don't know why. Insert random pot joke here, but they do. So, by the way, does this upset anybody? I apologize, but like I said, I don't know why you guys liked us eating cereal, so I'm trying to figure out this equation here.
We should just eat food every time we do a post-Geekout,
There are Twitch streamers. There are Twitch streamers who just eat food and then describe how they're eating it, and they make livings off that. I don't understand you, internet. I'm trying here. All right.
Yeah, I'll gladly get paid to eat.
Yeah. Mine is not the question why. So, although if this review goes on too long, I might end by throwing up. So, let's get into this Power Rangers film. I'm going to start by letting you know where I'm coming from when it comes to Power Rangers, because I am in my early 30s, which means I was right at that age range when Power Rangers came out when I was a kid. And when it came out, I loved it. I was obsessed with it. However, my dad kind of made fun of me for it. My dad was okay with Ninja Turtles, he was okay with Transformers. This was the thing which was this is too stupid. So, I'm sorry, this is just dumb. So I never had any toys for it, never had any action figures for it, but I loved watching that cartoon. I loved it so much.
It wasn't a cartoon.
Whatever. Listen.
It was cartoony enough, though.
In the loosest definition of the word, it was a cartoon, alright? But here's the thing, there's many things from my childhood, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or all the comic books that I read, that I still hold on to. There are many things from my childhood that I enjoyed then, and I still enjoy on some level, even if it's just a nostalgic level now, that I still enjoy. Power Rangers is so weird, because the moment I hit 12, oh, I don't like this anymore. It wasn't even a slow, this isn't as good as I remember. Oh, okay, I think I'm seeing close. Okay, you know what, I think I'm outgrowing this. It was an instant, I don't like this anymore. Oh, this is bad now. And I remember Twitch in the lead up to this, Twitch has been streaming this. Like every single Power Rangers episode ever, in order. I thought, you know what? I'm sure I got some nostalgic love for this still somewhere deep down in my cold black heart. I'm going to watch this, check it out. And I tuned in, and it was one of my favorite episodes. I remember it was one of my favorite ones when I was a kid. And oh my god, I forgot how bad that show was. Like, if you guys love it,
that's fine.
Yeah,
but
that's fine. I'm not coming in here and complaining
if you
about
like the Power Rangers show, if you like Krispy Kreme, that's fine. That's your opinion. But this is our post Geekout reaction. These are our opinions. So
And I gotta say, it was the episode for anybody who was a fan of it. It's the episode where Rita summons this giant weather monster, and it banishes them to this far off land, where basically it turns into a clip show of each of them almost fading away as they face their worst fears, and then they have to remember their greatest victories. So basically it's an excuse for a clip show episode. And then they come back and like, yeah, we did that. I was watching that, I was like, oh. You know me, I hate insulting anybody's acting abilities, and I realized this was not meant to be like high theater, but wow, I forgot how stupid some of the things on this show was. Like, man, I loved Goldar when I was a kid, but the moment I watched him like, I will destroy the Power Rangers, I'm like, he's not as cool as I thought I was when I was 10. Hoo boy, okay.
Now, for me, I never really liked the Power Rangers. I mean, I only liked it for Kimberly because she was the pink Power Ranger who powered the pterodactyl Zord, and I love pink and I love pterodactyls, and that's it. Everything else I did not care for because I knew it was dumb.
Like, and I liked Billy when I was a kid because I always rooted for the nerd because I was one, and he drove the Triceratops, and I liked Triceratops when I was a kid. So cool, yeah. There we go.
Yay!
Kind of matched up with our personalities.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, like even when I was little, like I knew this was dumb. And so, like, all the other kids, like, especially the boys, oh, I got some donuts on me. So, like,
for that one guy in the comments who was like, oh my god, if she doesn't brush that off now, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Alright, that was for you. But yeah, like, all the kids were always like, oh, Power Rangers so cool and so awesome, all that fighting is like, and then I tune in, it's like, this is silly. I can't take this seriously.
It's so silly.
Like, maybe if it was an animated cartoon, I probably would have been more lenient, you know, because, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is cartoon. I like that. I don't know if that's considered as silly as Power Rangers.
Did they ever do a cross? No, that was with Kamen Rider that the Turtles did a crossover with. But yeah, it's one of those things where I know people are going to go, well, watch Super Sentai, like what the original Japanese is. I have people in my store who's like, yeah, I tuned in, it was stupid, I just watched Super Sentai now. So I've never tried that, maybe that is really good.
Maybe. It's like we didn't have access to anime back in those days.
Back in my day. This was all we got.
Yes. That and terribly dubbed Sailor Moon anime.
That's one I don't want to return to because I'm like, I have some fondness for the Sailor Moon one still in my heart. I'm like, I know I will lose this. But yeah, it's like, so I'm in this weird state where it's like, I remember all the stuff I loved about it, but I don't see that in there anymore. Like, even watching it, trying to be nostalgic, like, I can't see the stuff I loved, but I remember what I loved. Like, I remember they recently came out with a Power Rangers comic book, like a year ago they started making it, and I know everybody was looking forward to it, and I was actually looking forward to it too, because I was like, this will be awesome. It's like a fresh reboot. They're taking the original characters, rebooting it in this comic book. It's gonna kind of be like the Ninja Turtles, where it's capturing all the stuff that made this old series successful, but it's also making it a little bit more mature for all the readers who grew up with this stuff. I read it as like just the untold stories of the original characters, and I was like, I'm instantly out on this. I don't care anymore. And yeah, that's a shame. So yeah, that's just where we're coming from going into this. And here's the shocking thing. I kind of like this. It's weird. We rarely ever like really disagree on something, but you were kind of like, coming out of this, and I actually kind of like it.
Yeah, like it's usually the opposite. Usually I'm the one who likes it more than you, but
I'm typically more critical, as I've been told numerous times on Twitter.
I don't know, it's like,
I'm just slowly degrading into the cinema snob. It's just this is my slow turn into him. I don't recall Mighty Morphin being in the title of this film. But yeah, typically we come out and I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing some problems in there, and you don't really, you're typically more positive on. We came out of this and you were definitely more negative on this, and I actually kind of enjoyed it. However, at the same time, I totally see all the problems in this thing.
It's like, I think because I was like actually sort of excited to see this movie. Like,
I think that's the thing, is that like, it's got negative reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got like a 44% on there. However, all the critics I follow on Twitter, aside from Movie Bob, were like, it's actually not bad. And all the podcast films, all the movie review podcasts I listen to were like, it's actually pretty good. I don't know why everybody's being that hard on it. I mean, yeah, it's not great, but it's okay. Like, all of them were. So I came into it a little bit like, yeah, all right. Yeah, we'll see. I think I was rooting for it to be good because I think after Iron Fist and the Justice League trailer, I've ranted about a lot of stuff recently, and I was like, I need a win. I need one thing that I can come in here and be like, that was actually pretty okay. So thank you, Power Rangers. You saved the day on this one. Although I have a feeling this will be the one where like fans will be like, that was garbage. Why did you like that? So it's like, I don't know.
It's like, it was not total garbage. It's like the way...
High praise indeed.
No, it's like, for me, it was like moments of awfulness and moments of awesomeness sprinkled throughout a mediocre movie.
I was with you on that for like the first act. For the first act, like for every time that there was something good, there was something like equally bad.
Yeah.
Like, almost right there. Like the opening of this film is a really good example, because the opening of the film is Jason, who becomes the Red Ranger, which, by the way, normally we do like a plot summation. You don't need it's the Power Rangers, alright? I know my audience. You all know what Power Rangers is, okay? So, it opens up with Jason, who becomes the Red Ranger. He's stealing the mascot of like a rival school.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, that's something that like football teams do. Okay, I can understand. And he's escaping from the police. And that's a pretty darn cool sequence. Like, it's one long shot from like the backseat of the car following him. And I'm sure it's all green screen, obviously, but it's like,
I actually like got kind of nauseated at the part.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was like constantly spinning back and forth. Like the camera like zooms back to the backseat where you see the police cars chasing, and then like it cuts right back to Jason driving.
It was doing a lot of that. Typically, I'm the one who has that problem. I think we swap bodies on this one. Because typically, I'm the one who has the problem with like motion sickness, and I was fine with that. But I was like, I think that was actually a pretty darn cool sequence. However, immediately before that happens, they have a long ass joke about jerking off a bull.
Yeah.
And I apologize for my language, but that's literally what the joke is. They literally go, I don't know why it's so restless. I just milked it. It's a male cow. It doesn't have udders. And I was like, oh, how many udders was there? Was there only one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would explain, because it was really hard to get. And I was like, oh my God, they are holding on this. Like, it wasn't like a quick, like, I don't know why. And like, I really thought they were going to go, I don't know why I just milked it. It's a male cow. And I thought that was going to be the joke. And I was like, all right, leave it up to the audience. They hold on this thing. They want you to pick, like, they graphically describe it. Yeah, I was grabbing it with both hands. And like, I was like, why is it still going? What's happening here? But then it goes in that cool sequence. I was like, okay,
they really milked that joke. All right.
But then they go to that cool sequence. I was like, okay, negative, positive. And then they go into something that made both of us burst out laughing. Like, literally, like, I was trying to hold back a laugh, and then I turned to you, and you were, like, trying even harder to hold in. It goes to the title sequence. This is Power Rangers. And this, to me, is, like, to all the fans of the original who are going to end up hating this, I totally understand where you're coming from. Because as I said, even though I no longer am a fan of Power Rangers, I still remember what I enjoyed about it, and I can still look at and see what people still enjoy about it. This, to me, sums up a lot of the problems that fans of the show are going to have with this. It cuts to the title. The title isn't like the giant letters coming in, lightning bolt coming down or anything. It is tiny bottom of the screen, Power Rangers. Like in like a very basic ass font, like just a total black screen, tiny bottom corner, Power Rangers.
Like you think it was like some sort of...
This is like, it's in the CU Space Cowboy font is what it is. It's like, Jesus, are you kidding me?
Like, this isn't some sort of like indie art.
It's the Power
art
Rangers
film.
indie film. Like it really feels like this would have been an amazing like indie low budget Power Rangers short. Like if this thing was like 15 minutes of all of them like coming together in detention, and then it leads up to them like finding the coins, and that's where it ends. It would be a great fan film, and I could totally see like the small font working there, but I was like, damn man, this ain't for the live, big screen, massive multi-million-dollar budget Power Rangers film.
It's like, that's kind of another thing, like, you mentioned, like, the tension, like, obviously, Jason gets detention after, like, that whole incident.
Stealing the cow, yeah.
Yep.
Go on.
Just want to see what donut you got.
I am actually getting a carrot cake one, because I am the one guy on Earth who likes carrot cake. So, yeah, as you're saying, after Jason gets attention.
It's like, I thought it was gonna go like the Breakfast Club routine, where like everyone like meets up in detention and they sort of like bond, and then like afterwards they decide to like go out into on a hike or something, or like, and then they stumble across the coins and everything, but that's not quite how it happened.
And again, this to me is the like doing some good stuff, doing some bad stuff, because I love seeing. Because you got Kimberly there, you got Jason there, and you got Billy there. So you got those three meeting up there.
Yes.
And you got that interaction going. And that's actually really good. Like, I love that Jason, you instantly get to know who Jason is, because he sees Billy getting bullied, and he comes up to him, and he is not afraid to bitch slap a bully. Like, it's one of the best slaps I've ever seen on a camera. Like, that audience reacted like, oh! And it was like, I instantly know who Billy is. Great, awesome, cool. Then he goes through a kind of really cheesy scene with Kimberly, and Kimberly's like, we're gonna cut you of our lives, literally. And then she takes out a giant photo of them and cuts it out. I was like, no one has ever done this ever.
It's like, this scene is like something that would be like in the actual like show, not in the movie.
That's the level of goofy that you would see in the Power Rangers TV show. As we said, you got them bonding together there in detention. I was like, that's actually really good. And it gives a reason for them all to come together. You have a reason for Jason and Billy to start hanging out. This all works together pretty darn well. Then you got the other two. You got Zach and Trini, and they're just randomly there in the junkyard for some reason. Not
in
the junkyard.
The mines.
The old gold mine. Because this was built in a prospector town. So I was like, okay, but they're just randomly there. Again, good. What are you doing over here?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if those two were also in detention and for some reason, and I would have liked that. It's like, that's what I basically want. I wanted the Breakfast Club with robots.
That's not a bad way to describe what it should have been. I was like, and the weird thing is, at the end of this movie, like, again, we jump all over in the post-Geekout reactions and we go into full sports. At the end of this movie, they are in detention. And it's like, why? Why are you now here?
You were not here before.
And yeah, that's kind of one of my problems, is that I was loving seeing, like, the family life of, like, Jason. And I was kind of nervous about the family life of Jason, because, like, you had your whole life in front of you. We're never going to understand each other. That whole speech was like, that's so cliche, but they kind of made it work here. But I loved all the stuff with Billy, and I love, like, the brief stuff you get with his mom. Is like, in that one little moment you get with his mom, it's like, you can kind of instantly tell. And also, like, him talking about his dad and his memories of his dad. Like, the little interactions that you get with Kimberly and Jason, like, that's all pretty good. And I absolutely love the stuff. Like, the best family stuff, though, to me, was the stuff with Zach's family and the stuff with Trini's family. However, that comes, like, halfway through this freaking film.
Yeah, and it's only, like, what, a few minutes?
They are already Power Rangers at that point, and I'm like, dude, this is too late to be getting to introduce us to these characters. Like, you don't even get Trini's name until halfway through this movie. And I'm like, that's a huge flaw. Like, oddly, I think they were two of the best characters in this thing. But yeah, you waited way too long to introduce us to them on this. So, yeah, again, it's like, okay, the story you're giving them, the backstory, the family life that you're showing of them, really good. But not enough of it, and way too late. Something
too
good,
little, too late.
Something bad. It was like, it is frustrating that it's like, dude, I can see the good here. I can see the good, but there, you just needed someone to come in here and rearrange some scenes, maybe add like 5 more minutes to show their family life again, because I actually was really interested in Trinity's life when you see like her mom freaking out, but then her dad is really trying there. I was like, okay, let's get a little bit more in on you, and like I really think there's going to be a lot on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially with her.
Yeah.
And I will definitely say especially with her, because one of the things that was kind of revealed about this movie was that the Blue Ranger, Billy, has autism.
Yeah.
And the Yellow Ranger is gay. And I'm like, dude, perfect, great, way to go. I've always said everybody out there needs a hero. I'm so happy that this established property, which it was an established property that really was always kind of like, we're going to try and get everybody a hero. I'm really glad that in this movie, in a big budget superhero film, you're going to make a character gay, you're going to make a character autistic. That is so cool.
It's like,
but I will say this. Billy, they stop and they like kind of focus on, and you see it all throughout the film.
Yeah, it's like the very first time you see Billy, he's organizing his pencils by color.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that and I said to myself, he has either got OCD or autism or some form of like a mental condition, and then like
he's somewhere on the spectrum.
Yeah, he literally says he's somewhere on the spectrum. And it's like, oh, they blatantly said it. And you know, they do. You know, there's always like movies where they have like a quirky character, and then like in an interview they'd be like, yeah, that character's autistic, but it's like never do they ever blatantly say it in a movie or anything. It's like, and they actually like, you know, say it. And it's like, oh wow,
that was actually pretty darn cool.
Yeah, that's actually like pretty ballsy. So good job on that.
However, everybody has been talking about it's amazing that they made a character gay. That is so brave of them to make a character gay. I will, again, like I said, I will applaud you for making the character gay. However, if you dropped your M&Ms on the floor and bent down to pick them up, you're gonna miss it in this film. Like, it is quick. And I was like, with Billy, it's kind of there all throughout it. With her, it was like, there's a moment in which they're at a campfire, and they're all deciding, you know what, we need to bond. We need to actually get to know each other. Time to reveal our secrets to each other. And like, she's there and she goes, yeah, you know, things are complicated with me. And then Zach goes, boyfriend troubles? And he goes, yeah, boyfriend troubles. And he goes, girlfriend troubles? She goes, my parents, they're obsessed with putting labels on things, and I don't think they would understand. And she says a little bit more than that, and I'm like, that was it. Like, I even gave a little bit more hints than she did in that scene, and I'm like, I think she captures very well that feeling of being at that age where you don't know what you are. I think she captures that feeling of like, I'm trying to understand myself. I'm trying to understand myself. And I think she captured that very well in that brief little moment. But it's like, you could have gone a little bit further with it. Like, you could have been like, it was, like you said, it's kind of brave of them to make Billy autistic. And it's brave of them to make Trini gay. But it kind of feels like they copped out there at the end. It feels like there was one scene that got cut out that would be like, oh no, she's definitely gay. It feels like at the very end they're like, yeah, I think this might not play well in the South or in some other countries if we leave this one scene. Let's take that one scene out. And anybody out there, you know, some people will get it. Enough people will understand. I'm like, all right, I applaud you, but like you could have gone further with it. Like people are, I'm just trying to say this because like, people are hyping this up like, oh my god, I can't believe it. They have a gay superhero up there. Again, if you go to the bathroom in that one scene, you will have no idea that. So it's like, all right, kind of.
Like when she agreed when Kevin asked boyfriend troubles, I thought like she was supposed to be like bisexual or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But who knows?
So anyway, as we were saying, like this whole film, there's good things and there's bad things. However, that's like the first act to me. Once they are all together, they find Zordon. I pronounced that correctly. And they find Alpha 5. That's when I started really enjoying this film. Because the thing that made me enjoy this, the thing that made me really like it and see past a lot of the flaws in this film, was the feeling of that team coming together. Because that's the one thing that I'll say. They wait a long ass time to introduce Zach and Trini. However, once they do and once they're all working together, it actually felt like this was a group of friends.
Exactly.
Like that's the thing that worked for me. That's the thing that's like when you see like Jason go up and hug Billy, I was like, I actually feel like they really care about each other. Like, there's a scene, like, you can tell, like, there's some, like, tension between Kimberly and Trini. Like, I kind of enjoyed that scene in which, like, Kimberly was like, yeah, she just moved here. She's in my biology class. And she was like, I've been here for over a year, and I'm in your calculus class. And I was like, okay, so there's some tension. Like, Trini kind of feels like, okay, she doesn't actually, like, I'm not in her circle or whatever. I'm an outsider or whatever. There's a scene in which they're just like fighting over a piece of donut, and I was like, that's actually kind of like, that's kind of a cool little moment to show off A, their train, and B, also like they're kind of bonding. And like Zach was so like, he was so like, what the heck are you even trying to be when he first popped up? It's like, are you just the weird kid? Like, what, are you crazy? But why are you crazy? When he actually gets into his home life, I was like, oh shoot. There's dimensions to this kid, and then when he's the one who says we all need to come together, we all need to actually talk and like get to know each other, and he like really kind of breaks down who he is and like his feelings about his mom. I was like, oh my gosh, you're an actual character. You're a damn good character too. Like, I was honestly really impressed, and that's the thing that made me actually like this film. It's that this actually feels like these kids are friends. And that they legitimately care about each other.
Yeah. It's like, I think my problem with the film is that it tries to maintain like the cheesiness of the show while also trying to be serious at the same time. And that kind of doesn't like go over very well.
Here's the thing. In the beginning of the film, first act, it's all serious. But, and like we said, there's good scenes and there's bad scenes, but it's trying to all be that one tone. Second act, it's kind of like halfway serious, halfway fun.
Yeah.
And I think they hit the tone in that. I was like, okay, you're actually doing this pretty well. When it gets to, although I will say throughout the second act, I wasn't really digging Rita. I know a lot of people out there are like, yeah, she's actually a badass in here. And I will say this, she's far more badass in this than she was in the old cartoon. However, they try and shoot her like some like J-horror witch, in which like she's like moving in fast motion, and it's almost like they speed up and reverse the footage or something to make her like move really weird, and I'm like, that doesn't match the rest of this film. It just feels so odd. It feels so out of place. I'm not digging it. Her whole personality just doesn't match the tone of this film. Like when they're trying to be really way more serious, she again just feels way too cartoonish, doesn't seem to match. But aside from that, throughout the second act, I think they hit the tone. I think they were doing it really well. I was like, dude, I'm so enjoying this. And then it gets that moment when they have to summon out the Zords. And when they're in there and they're charging out, and they actually come in at that moment with the song, Go Go Power Rangers. And I was like, even if I no longer have my love for the old cartoon, that theme song is one of the best theme songs out there. I love that theme song when I was a kid. That is like one of the few things that will still kind of get that nostalgia for this show rushing up back in me. That was always the moment in which I was like, yeah, when I was a kid. When they come charging out in the Zords and they play Go Go Power Rangers, I looked at that and went, this is stupid. And the reason why I said that was because they had spent this entire film trying to be so serious. They spent this entire film trying to be so mature, so serious, so real world on this, that when that theme song kicked in, I went, this doesn't match this film at all. There is no reason for this to be in this movie. This feels so weird and out of place. It's just so odd. And there's a lot of scenes where they're like fighting, and I was like, it doesn't quite match that tone. And like I said, whenever Rita is in there, it's like, oh man. She would be good if they had tried to go more fun throughout this entire thing. But when you're trying to be more serious throughout this entire thing, she just feels out of place. Like even when they're at that campfire and like they're all breaking down their personal secrets and everything, I was like, man, this is such a great moment of them buying. And then like Trini goes, so what? After all this, are we still gonna be Power Rangers? I was like, the moment you say Power Rangers and it's saying like this, like it just, that's a record scratch moment for me. And I'm like, man, this just really like, yeah, trying to match the fun tone of the old show.
Yeah. With
this, it's that square peg in a round hole, man. It doesn't quite feel right. Also, I will say, the monster Goldart, who is just a giant mountain of gold that has come to life. He never says anything, never does anything. It's like, that has no personality. It could just be anything that they're fighting there. So that's kind of wasted potential for me. She could have had a minion there with her who she, like, throws all this gold onto or something. But I will say this. Even when they're in the Zords, some of the action scenes are pretty darn good. And also, they still manage to get those emotions in there during those scenes. Like, when you see them kind of like there and it's supposed to be like, feel like the old show, it doesn't really feel like the old show. But when you see like Kimberly saying, I'm gonna come in here and grab you, Jason, and she comes in to like help Jason, and I'm like, yeah, because you're friends. All right, like the feelings of the rest of this movie come in. Or like, there's a moment in which he is trying to push all of them down into this pit and destroy them, and they realize they're going to die, and they're like, but we're gonna die. We're gonna do this, friends. And I actually got choked up at that moment.
Reminds me of like, spoiler alert, like the end of like Toy Story 3.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, like when they were all going into like the incinerator, it's kind of the same thing.
Except in that, they did that so well, I legit thought they were going to die.
Yeah, me too.
In this, I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen.
We know what was going to happen.
We know exactly what's going to happen, but yeah, I was getting like teared up simply because I was like, these guys are friends. They care so much about each other. All 5 of these actors, they did an amazing job on that. They did an amazing job nailing that feeling of we are friends. We're in this together. So it's like, dude, you did, and that moment which you're like, we're going out, but we're going out friends, and like every single one of them still has like such different personalities, and like just makes it feel good seeing such different types of people all coming together, and it's like, yeah, we are all friends in this story. And like, man, God, you nailed the friendship in here, and that's the thing that in the end makes me enjoy it so much more. I'm not saying that like all the humor is bad, because just thinking about, they get shoved into the pit and then they all fuse together. It was so weird to me though that it's like Rita was looking at that like, no, that's impossible. I was like, okay, I'm confused. Did she know that they could do that? Like, was it like a thing that was like, well, legend says they can possibly do this, but no one has actually pulled it off? Or is it like one of those things where it's like, dude, nobody knew this could happen. How is this even working right now?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's like, all right, that did, yeah, all right.
But it's like...
after they fused together, which, by the way, when they fused together, a kid sitting in front of us threw his fist up in the air. I was like, all right, the kids like it.
Yeah,
all right.
That was so sweet. It's like, I didn't even realize the kid was sitting in front of us because he was so quiet.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was like, that was great. But it's like, I love that when they started moving, they instantly like fell over because they didn't know how to move it. I was like, that's actually a good joke. Because like, yeah, you don't know what this is. And it's like, it was kind of like a Voltron moment.
Yeah, it's like, I was thinking of Voltron throughout
yeah,
this.
because like in the original show, they're all in like a cockpit in the chest and they're all operating it right there. But this is like Voltron rules where it's like, no, you're in the foot, you're in the foot, you're in the arm, you're in the arm. And it's like, when they're actually like going out there, sorry, the dogs are coming back at me. But I love that when they were going out there and they were trying to figure out, like, oh, wait, are you the arm? Are you the arm? No, I'm the arm. I'm the arm. I'm not in this. I'm like, I think I'm a leg. I'm a leg. I'm a leg too. Oh, we're both leg brothers. I'm like, that was a great moment. I love that moment. So it's like, there were moments of humor in here that worked. But one thing that I will say is that I don't think the designs of the Zords are actually pretty good. I think they're actually kind of meh. Like, I think the T-Rex had a good design. But aside from that, none of the other ones were that memorable, or they didn't really focus on them quite enough. The woolly mammoth, of course, being the worst.
Yeah, it's like, I seriously thought the woolly mammoth was supposed to be like a giant beetle.
It's got 6 legs on. Hold on, this is probably bugging someone. There we go. That joke is done. We don't need that anymore.
Yeah, we don't need any more product placement.
We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, the woolly mammoth, which, by the way, the toy that they made for the woolly mammoth, which is where everybody learned first, like, so it's got 6 legs, it also shot webbing out of its back, and I was like, someone thought it was a spider. Someone told this guy, turn the woolly mammoth into a spider, and I was like, yeah, man, it's disappointing. I do actually love the explanation that they gave for the Zords. Like I said, I abandoned Power Rangers a long time ago, so I don't care about the mythology of it all. But there are some like cool stuff they were adding to the mythology. It's like, these things have been here for 65 million years, so they took the form of what was the mightiest creatures on the planet at that time. So it's like, An explanation for why they're dinosaurs.
That being said, it would explain why there is a giant beetle instead of a woolly mammoth, because there were some pretty huge insects back in those days.
Which, yeah, that was the other thing. As I was kind of like, wait, woolly mammoths and saber-tooth tigers didn't exist at that point. Which made me kind of wonder, like, okay, is there like an untold story about like 2 other ones that came to the Earth at that time? It's like, all right, so what happened with that? But also, like, for anybody out there who, like, kept saying, like, yeah, why is Rita green? It's like, well, because she's got the Green Ranger coin, and as we all know, the Green Ranger worked for Rita when she first showed up, so I was like, all right, you know what, that, you actually set that up pretty darn well. I gotta give you some props on that one. That actually makes sense. But as for the Zords, yeah, the woolly mammoth kind of sucked. Like, it was one of those in which it's like, where exactly is your face? Do you just have a giant gun on the front? Like, all the other ones, you got at least a sense of how they looked. Woolly mammoth, it was like, wait, you have 6 legs? I didn't even catch that until just now. Like, it's so weird looking. But also when they fuse together, it's just a big, gray, generic robot.
Yeah, it's like, you didn't even, like, see them fuse together. Like, because it was like, they were falling in the pit, so there was all this fire and lava around them.
Yeah, like, you saw, like, molding together stuff.
Yeah,
like, alright. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is not nostalgia talking. I've made that pretty clear all throughout this. This is just me knowing what looks better. The old stuff looked better because it's like, that's a big giant robot with a really unique design. This is just a big gray robot in this movie. Same thing goes for Goldar. I'm not saying the giant winged blue monkey was better. Well, actually, no, it was better. I'm not saying it was great, but it was better than just big drippy mold of gold. That's, yeah.
Gold mold.
Gold mold, yeah. That's it, yeah, it's better than gold mold. It's better than gold muck. Alright. Yeah, so there's some things where it's like, I really feel like, even though the serious stuff, I think, really worked to help with their friendship and help, like, give characters and definitions to these characters. I didn't want to repeat characters there. But yeah, even though I think that helped with that, I think in the end it ended up hurting it because, thank you, motorcycle. Because when you get to the stuff that makes Power Rangers, the stuff that you needed to have in this film to make it a Power Rangers film, it was like, this doesn't match. This does not match. There's some cool stuff there, but there's some cool stuff there, and like I said, in that moment when they thought they were going to die, you brought the serious stuff back and you made it work. And I was like, when Jason had to go and rescue his dad, that's another good serious moment. It was like, you could have the serious stuff in there, but you have to have a moment where they rush out there in the giant dinosaur robots and fuse together, and Rita says, "Make my monster grow," and I'm like, nah, man. You need a little bit more fun in here. You need a little bit less serious, a little bit more. Not because I'm coming in here and saying like, oh well, it has to just be goofy and for kids. It's like, no, because when you get to the stuff that you have to have in there to define it as a Power Rangers film, it don't work. It does not work clashing against each other there. So
I hate saying this, but maybe they should like take a lesson from Marvel Studios.
I hate after me
saying
ranting about the Justice League trailer this weekend, Actually, I've had one person. That's the weird thing about being on the internet. I could have 9 people to every one person. I could have 9 people tell me, yeah, I totally agree with you. For every one person that complains, that one person will make you go, oh, everybody hates this.
Yeah, that's how negative comments are.
Yeah, so it's like I had one person go on there and it's like, oh, this is Marvel fanboy BS on your part. And it's like, no, I assure you, it is not. Not in the least. But this is one of those things in which, like, it does always baffle me that you will have a property that is goofy and fun and for all ages, and then when you try and adapt it, and it's also colorful and bright and all this other stuff, but when you try and adapt it into a movie, you go, let's lose all that, make it serious, make it darker, and Marvel is like the one group out there who isn't doing that, and they're kicking everyone's ass in this department. It's like, are none of you going to take a lesson from this? Nobody is learning from this. At all. Seriously, no one? None? At least? Alright, cool. Nobody even wants to try. Alright, cool. Fine, whatever. Enjoy losing to Beauty and the Beast this weekend, Power Rangers. But it's like, again, this is one of those times in which this drives me freaking nuts, is that it's like, I'm looking at the serious stuff in here, and the serious stuff is done well. it's when you get to that roadblock, man, when you get to that point where it's like, it has to be a Power Rangers movie now. You have to have someone say, go Power Rangers here. It's like, no, it don't quite work.
That brings up another point, like the soundtrack.
Soundtrack was weird in this,
Yeah,
man.
it
And it's like,
was.
it's not that the songs that they pick in here are bad, it's just they're jarring. Because like every time, the actual score of the film is pretty darn
Yeah,
good.
the original score was great.
I actually kind of dug that.
Yeah, but then like during
There are, like, it's almost at Suicide Squad levels of like how many songs they put in
Yeah,
here.
and it's so weird. It's like
And it will, it takes you out of the scene.
yeah, like at the credits, they play the song "I Got the Power" in like an auto-tune remix, and it's like
You don't need to auto-tune I Got the Power. That song works on its own.
And it's like you were saying, like, why aren't they playing the Power Rangers theme during the
I know,
credits?
didn't you? Like, we sat through those whole credits and I was like, wait, there's the production logos coming up. The credits are almost done. You mean to tell me you're not going to play Go Power Ranger during this anywhere? No? Alright, and it's like, I mean, you will have like a song come in for like a snippet or for like an entire sequence, and whether it's for that snippet or for that sequence, it's so jarring when they just shove it in there. Like, they had Kanye West Power come on at one point. I mean, they don't even get to the lyrics in that song. It's just there for the and then that's it.
Yeah,
like,
during the fight scene, it's like,
okay.
really?
And like, yeah, even the Go Power Rangers thing, that is literally just all they do. Go Power Rangers, you mighty morphin Power Rangers. And that's it. And I was like,
Yeah.
not gonna continue with that awesome guitar riff that comes after that? Alright, cool, fine.
Fine, whatever.
I was like, it's not like any of us were waiting for you to just show us what you could do with a remix of this, like a modern day update of it. Alright, I'm fine, whatever. But yeah, there's like so many, like, there's a moment in which he has to race over to Billy's house on his bike, bam, song there. There's a moment in which Rhea's at the docks, bam, song there. And it's like, they're all over the freaking place. And it's like, they become the star of that scene. They take you out of that. They
Yeah.
remind you you're listening to a soundtrack rather than making it feel like you're watching a movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of weird. Alright, let's get into the big thing on this though. This dropped an entire point for me. I hate product placement. However, I understand how the sausage is made. I understand sometimes you gotta do it. And for anybody out there who's like, yeah, you're a Marvel fanboy, it's like, hey man, Marvel sucks at their product placement, alright? I am totally willing to admit that. However, there are times when it can be done well. Like anytime that somebody just looks at their phone and they go, oh, see, they're advertising Sony products. It's like, or we live in the modern age where everyone is constantly looking at their phones and maybe they have a Sony phone. Alright, it's fine. If you're going to put product placement in there, that's a fine time to do it. If you want to have someone sitting down and eating a bowl of cereal and it's a brand name cereal, fine. You want to have them drinking a Coke, I'm fine with that. So when you stop the film to focus on that, like going over to Marvel there, a good example is like the very first Iron Man film. Like when he gets out of the cave and he's like, I want an American cheeseburger right now. And then as he goes up to the press conference, they go, your burger, sir? And they pause as they hold the Burger King bag, label facing the audience right there in the center of the screen. And then as he's like having the press conference throughout the entire thing, he's got the Burger King bag in his hands. There's like, this sucks right now. But I mean, you could have done that well. You could have had him just go, I want an American cheeseburger right now. Take me to Burger King. There, he says it. You have the guy actually say the name of the burger. Bam, done. That works just fine. But it's like, yeah, there's ways you can do it well, there's ways that you can't do it well. They're trying to find this crystal. A crystal that brings all life to the earth. It's the white power battery. That's a reference two people will get. So they have to find his location. Billy is able to track down his location. He's following the maps, following the coordinates. It's at a Krispy Kreme. And I was like, okay, fine. But then it gets towards the third act of this, in which Rita is torturing them, going, tell me where it is. And then Billy goes, okay, it's at the Krispy Kreme. The Krispy Kreme. Yeah, the Krispy Kreme.
Like they say it so many times.
This must be a special... No, my favorite part is when they go, this must be a very special place, the Krispy Kreme. It holds all sorts of life on Earth. And I was like, this is a literal ad. This is a literal ad you just did. And then as she is looking down, walking around the city with Goldar, she goes, find the Krispy Kreme, my minion. And then she gets to the Krispy Kreme. She's in this abandoned Krispy Kreme. And it holds on her as she grabs these donuts, walks down, sits down, takes a big old bite out of one. I was like,
well, Goldar's in the
we
back.
ate fewer donuts here than they do in this. I was like, Dude, you want to do like an advertisement with Krispy Kreme? All right, fine, I understand. But for God's sakes, you're teenagers. They had a special hangout in
I
the
thought
old
that's
show.
what I seriously, when I heard Krispy Kreme was sponsored in this, like, oh, they're just
That's
gonna
their
hang
special
out.
hangout.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out after school. Okay, I'm fine with that, but no.
Instead, it's like, where is it? Krispy Kreme, Krispy Kreme, Krispy Kreme, Krispy Kreme. Oh, the Krispy Kreme. And it's like, dear God. So I was like, yeah, that was another reason why when you said, so you want to get Krispy Kreme, I was like, I am not going to help any company that is that lazy with this product placement.
I just thought it would be funny for the review or the Geekout, post-Geekout
Me
reaction.
too, but I was like, I'm not, like, fuck that. I'm sorry. That is like one of the worst product placements I've ever seen. I will typically, like, if you have bad product placement, I will typically bump a little bit off. I'm taking, when I do like my mini review on this, I'm going down an entire point on this because of that, because it was like, even when it's getting to really good moments in there, the moment you see her go, fine, Krispy Kreme, I was like, fuck this movie. Fuck you for doing that. And I was like, and the sad thing is, like, I know that the people making this movie didn't want to do that. I know that they were like, all right, fine, we'll put it in there. But when they negotiate the contract, like they will, like Krispy Kreme will say, you have to have it be this, you have to have it be that, you have to say this much, you have to have a scene where one of the members eats one of our donuts. And I'm like, okay, so it's clearly Krispy Kreme coming in here with a high list of demands. And I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, did you specifically say you wanted Rita to eat one of the donuts? Or you just say there has to be a scene where someone eats a donut? Because again, have it be the freaking hangout and they're all just eating donuts.
Yes, like.
Have them like bring Krispy Kreme with them to the campfire when they all start bonding. It's like, I don't know.
It's not that hard to do, my God.
God, it was some of the worst. I am not exaggerating this at all.
Although, I hate to say this, but that seems kind of realistic, like having like, you know, a donut shop built over a giant ancient crystal. That's something you would totally expect modern America to do. It doesn't even have to be a Krispy Kreme. It could be like a McDonald's or a Walmart.
It's across the street from that neighborhood from Poltergeist where they just build it over the ancient Indian burial ground.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that how Billy came back to life? They just went, oh, well, luckily the pet cemetery is right up that street.
Yeah, spoiler alert, of course they killed the black guy.
And it seemed kind of like, I don't think it's that. I really don't. Like, that is such like a thing though.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Spoiler alert for Life. They killed the black guy in that one first, and that's like, so that's two films this weekend that do that. But I don't feel like that's the reason why they did it. I feel like they did it because he's the heart of the team.
Yeah.
He really is. He's the one who this meant the most to have.
Yeah, exactly. Like
he's the one who found them in the first place. He's the one who found the gyms. He's the one who was like constantly trying to get them further.
He found the location. He found the location.
He was the first one to morph. So I'm like, okay, it's not.
He was the one who wanted to be a Power Ranger the most out of all of them.
And I was like,
so this
Billy's a great damn character in this.
Yeah, it's like it just.
But it's like this is one of those times it was like, I don't think this was like a race.
No, it's just.
This was he's the heart of the team.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
And it was because of his death that they were able to like come together and
which,
like
again,
actually morph.
Yeah,
so.
that is a great like superhero moment. Shows the friendship between them. It's like there's so much that I like. End of the day, I'm still going to give this. I'm going to give it a B-. I would have been more lenient on it without the Krispy Kreme ad. I think for like the number score I give it in the mini review, I'm going to come in at like 7.5.
Yeah, I think I might also give it a B-, maybe a C+.
Yeah, okay, you definitely dislike this more than I did.
Yeah.
I'm good at debating. I'm not that good. I didn't fully turn you. Yeah, it's like, all right, so a B, a C, all right.
Yeah, like basically around that area.
We're still coming in way more positive on everybody else, but I will say this is one of those instances where like I'm not walking out of this going, I don't understand what everybody's talking about.
No.
So I was like, no, I get why everybody's hating this film. I get why the fans of the old show are hating this film. It took that thing you love, made it really dark and serious and all that. I get why all the people who weren't fans of Power Rangers are hating this film. It's because, like, even if you don't like, it's because there are those weird, goofy moments in there. I get why all the people who are okay with both serious and goofy are hating it because, like I said, it really is, for a large chunk of this film, one good thing, one bad thing, one good thing, one bad thing. And it's like, if the bad things are affecting you more, I totally get. In fact, right now it's got like a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes. I really believe if they did not have that Krispy Kreme sponsorship in there, and it was like the high school or something was where the crystal was located, which would have been a way better twist. Then honestly, I think this would probably be like a 60%. Like, I think that was probably like, for a lot of people who were there, I think there's a lot of people who were like 50-50 on this film.
Yeah.
And that was that straw that broke their back. Like, I think there would have been way more positive people if there hadn't just been that giant middle finger in this film. But yeah, so again, I actually enjoyed this. I actually do think the stuff that works in here is going to stick with me way longer than the stuff that didn't work. And I will also go ahead and say I'm actually intrigued for the idea of a sequel. I don't know if it's going to get one.
They definitely hinted at one with the Green Power Ranger.
Dude, the moment that I saw, like, she's got the green gem, I was like, you're setting up the Green Ranger for the next one. Mm-hmm. Totally cool with that. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, so I'm totally okay with them doing that. Although, it's going to lose out to Beauty and the Beast again this weekend. And yeah, like, it's projected to get like 40 million this weekend. That's not that great of an opening weekend for a film like this. So, I don't know if it's getting one.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
We shall see.
We'll see. But yeah.
I don't know. It's like the Nut Job got a sequel and that.
The Nut Job cost $12 to make. Yeah, God. Who was asking for that? Sorry, the trailer for that came out before this.
Yeah.
And both of us were like, are you freaking what?
Why?
For real? Alright, fine, whatever. Goddamn. Okay. Also, one small complaint. Where were Bulk and Skull? Where were Bulk and Skull? Seriously, I was like, man, alright. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. Maybe if it comes, because if they come back, I think they will have learned their lesson. But I think that we have seen numerous times where a film that had problems learned its lesson for the sequel, but no one was willing to come out to the sequel. So there's a bunch of questions for this.
Yeah.
But let us know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Let us also know your favorite donut chain. And make sure you come back next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.